My name is Jari. As you can tell by the title, we are diving into the chicken and egg dilemma of chess making kids smarter, or smart kids simply playing chess. Smart, in this instance, is referring to those who score well on tests, particularly in severe assessments. A study was done that gave empirical and objective results, and I am here to explain the answers to this topic based on them. If you are interested in reading the full study yourself, the link is in the description. Now, with that being said, what I'd like to touch on first is the idea of smart kids playing chess. If you take the scores of a chess playing student from before they were deeply into chess, the scores are usually above average. In the study I previously mentioned, they took scores for a large range of grades over many years. If we take a look at this chart, we can see that even as early as kindergarten, an age when they weren't deeply into or knowledgeable about chess, their scores are still higher. This confirms this side of the chicken and egg dilemma. However, unlike the original chicken and egg debate, just because one is true here, that doesn't mean the other must be false. When we look into the idea of kids becoming smarter by playing chess, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that it is true. Looking at this diagram from the study, we can see that kids who play chess grow much more in their scores than kids who don't. Another obvious observation is the difference in improvement between reading and math. In chess, you have to calculate. That is to plan out and simulate in your head what moves lead to the best situation for yourself. For example, take a look at this chess position. For those of you who know a little bit about chess, you will understand the brilliance of this. For those of you who don't know the rules of chess, for now, all you need to know is that a check is when the king is under attack. And when it is under attack, you must either take the piece that is attacking it, block the path to the king, or move the king. But to start, we can see the arrow pointing for the knight to go to h3. This puts the knight in a position where it can be taken by the g2 pawn, and where it is checking the king. But the player with the black pieces also checks the white king via the black queen, because by moving the knight, you open up the diagonal between the white king and the black queen. Because of the double check, the only way to escape is to move the king to h1. The player with the black pieces can now sacrifice their queen with queen to g1. This forces the rook on f1 to take the queen and sets up a game-ending move where you move the knight back to f2, which delivers a beautiful checkmate. This type of play requires memorization, creative thinking, problem solving, and imagination. All of these are helpful when it comes to doing math. On the other hand, only two of these are important for reading, and that's creative thinking and imagination. All the memorization and problem solving can be important as well, depending on how you think about it. This would explain why the increase in reading is marginal compared to the increase in math. Another thing you may have noticed, looking at the graph from earlier, is the big difference in score increase between USCF players and players who only go to the club. By the way, USCF stands for the United States Chess Federation. Basically, these are the tournament players. The reason behind this difference in growth is the difference in commitment. The study states that while club goers may not have any real commitment or passion for chess, basically every tournament goer does. This difference of commitment leads to those who are more committed to the sport of chess getting more of the benefits that come with it. To put it in numbers, the players who only went to the club saw a 5 to 10% increase in their math scores in comparison to their non-chess playing peers. They also saw no large improvement over their peers in reading. On the other hand, the students who would go so far as to play in chess tournaments saw a massive 30 to 50% increase in their math scores in comparison to the students who didn't play chess. Not only this, but they saw a 10 to 30% increase in their reading scores in comparison to them. Bringing all this together, it's clear that neither side is wrong. Indeed, chess players normally are smart people, but it is statistically proven that chess also makes kids smarter. So chicken or egg? In this instance, the answer is both. God bless and much love.